Alright, today we're talking about the First Amendment to the Constitution. This is the exact writing of the First Amendment. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion, or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech, or of the press, or the right of the people to peaceably to assemble, and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. Now let's take a look at what those words mean. First of all, shall make no law. What that means is Congress is not allowed to make a law or enforce a rule that goes against anything listed in this passage. So let's take a look at what we mean by not making a law that goes against anything in the passage. First of all, the establishment of religion. We're talking about people's freedom of religion. And what that means is Congress cannot make any laws that establish an official religion in the United States. So, for example, every single person in the United States has the right to worship whatever, whenever, and wherever they want. The only limitation would be you can't worship and have a practice that harms other people. Other than that, you are free to choose your religion, and Congress cannot tell you otherwise. Next, abridging the freedom of speech. What does that mean? Well, what it means is that individuals are free to express their opinions and beliefs. For example, people are free to share their opinions even if those opinions are unpopular. Have you ever been somewhere and seen someone with like a megaphone or something shouting a belief and people are just walking by? Even if that opinion is unpopular, even if people are walking by, people are free to share their opinion to anyone who will listen, as long as what they're saying is not slander or libel. So what is that? Slander is falsely saying something, spreading rumors, or threatening people to specifically ruin someone's reputation. You can't lie about people. Other than that, you can say whatever you believe. You can express your opinions. Libel is when it's written down, so it comes up more when we talk about freedom of press. Which is the next thing. So, freedom of the press. First of all, the meaning. When we say freedom of the press, we mean that the press has the right to gather and publish information, including that which criticizes the government. In other words, the places where you get your news from have a freedom to criticize the government, to say what they want, so long as it's not libel, so long as it's not written down lies. Other than that, the freedom of the press gives all media the freedom to publish anything they want or broadcast anything they want. So think about a few of the different forms of press out there today. If you watch ABC, CBS, NBC, or Fox's nightly news, that's an example of the press. CNN is an example of the press. Fox News is an example of the press. Even something like Google News, where it takes the news stories of the day and compiles them on a website, is an example of the press. The press is just a synonym for news sources, places to get the news, places to keep up with current events. Every Friday, we watch Vocabulary. That's the press. They are an example of a press organization. All right, next. The right of the people to peaceably assemble. That's our freedom of assembly, and that means that individuals may peacefully gather. If it's not peaceful, then there is a restriction on it, but as long as the gathering is peaceful, individuals can gather together in as large a groups as they want. Just take a look at that picture of Martin Luther King down there. That is a large assembly of people expressing their desire for desegregation. Okay? So for example, this allows people to gather together in groups anywhere they want, wherever they want, and for any reason. The only time there would be a restriction on that freedom is if people were getting hurt. So last, and probably the most confusing of your First Amendment freedoms, is the ability to petition the government. A petition means that individuals have the right to make their views known to public officials. So, for example, people have the freedom to be able to tell the government when something is wrong and they disagree. Most often this occurs in a document that is specifically called a petition. That is when someone writes a letter to the government or to someone in authority and has other people sign it to show the strength of the opinion, to show that multiple people care about the issue. So we have the freedom to petition the government. We have the freedom to make our views known to public officials. And we can do that by contacting the government just on our own. So in a letter or an email, or our government officials now have Twitter and stuff like that. So even if you just tweeted a government official or your representative in government, that would be an example of petitioning the government. Or you can sign on to a group petition, which is generally the more popular form of petition. Now, what famous document has a list of grievances against a government? I'll give you a hint. It's a declaration that was written to gain independence from Great Britain. That is an extremely famous petition. It was a declaration that we wanted independence from Britain. Think to yourself about what document that might be that you know of from history class. It was written by that guy, Jefferson. So, your First Amendment freedoms are religion, assembly, press, petition, and speech. One way that makes it easy to remember is to form the mnemonic phrase RAPPS. R-A-P-P-S. Religion, assembly, press, petition, and speech. They are your 5 First Amendment freedoms, and they are for everyone in the United States. I'll see you next time.